Hey guys, I'm Phoenix here. Let's start with a dangerous idea, shall we? What if I was to say that I was a fan of socialist behaviours, or socialist leanings? What would you say to that? I mean, I am a fan of socialist leanings. I do believe that in the UK we should have a national health service rather than a privatised one. The rail service should be nationalised. There should be a national investment bank to put money into the people. I believe that the utilities should be nationalised and controlled by the government. Any sort of service that is required by law should be provided by the government, because the government are the ones who should be taking accountability for these things. And generally what happens is that when you have these industries that are being run by government, everybody's a lot happier and the services are being provided at a reasonable cost. This could be seen as a dangerous idea to some people who haven't quite understood necessarily what I've been saying and just kind of leap to this idea that I am a Marxist or a socialist or a communist. And no, I'm not. I just believe that there should be some socialist elements within any country, because generally things are better as a result. The only gain that you get from selling it off to companies is that you get a little bit of a financial gain, but actually an awful lot of problems are created as a result. Now, as I said, this is a dangerous idea for some people who haven't necessarily understood what I've just said and just believe that I'm communist, Marxist, whatever. And the other side of things, where people have necessarily understood what I've said and just believe that I'm like them and believe that everything should be socialist, Marxist, whatever. That there should be no government, or I don't know, really. You know, the YouTube space is a very, very complicated place. Now, hopefully, most of you have understood what I've been talking about here, because, quite frankly, we're reasonably like-minded if you're following my channel, quite frankly. But this could be seen by some as almost offensive. So what should be done about it? Should we silence it? Should we just bury it and just believe that it should never exist? Or should people be able to come forth and discuss it? Because if an idea is a bad idea, then it should be changed in order to make it a good idea. It should be changed through challenging it, discussing it, bringing it out into the light for everybody to see. And when YouTube start talking about essentially shadow banning videos that don't conform to certain ideals, this isn't changing things, this is just burying them, and burying them can be very, very bad. We can look at things like, well, in Britain, we have quite a few examples of this recently. We had the London riots a few years back, which were triggered by the death of a taxi driver. The police had reasonable intelligence to assume that he had a gun in the cab, and without necessarily following the procedures that you might expect, getting him to come out of the car, they shot him. This triggered the London riots. Now, an awful lot of the London riots, it wasn't necessarily the death that was the cause, but it was possibly, the last straw. And what we saw was an eruption of violence from everyday people. And, there were riots, there were shops broken into, a furniture shop was burnt to the ground. It's not something that I would condone at all, but I can understand why it happened. And then you also had the sort of the looters that were using it as a cover. I can understand why that would erupt. The anger would suddenly erupt out like that. And we have them every so often. We had one recently that was as a result of... so, the police are chasing a man who they are understanding is to be a dealer, and he has his stash on him. The dealer runs into a shop, and he attempts to swallow his stash. The police, seeing that he's doing this, grab him by the throat to attempt to stop him from swallowing. He swallows it, unfortunately. They get there too late. Now, on the CCTV, it looks particularly violent, that they've got him by the neck, they're trying to stop him from swallowing, they're trying to get him to spit it out, which is standard procedure. It looks extremely violent, but it's actually designed to stop people from swallowing whatever they've just put in their mouths. Now, the guy went to hospital and he died as a result of what he'd swallowed. This resulted in, well, people saw the CCTV, they just took it as, another instance of police brutality, attacking, he was a black guy, so the instant opinion is that all police are racist, and so violence erupts as a result of that. Again, can't condone it, I can sort of understand it, especially when you've got the ruins of Grenfell Tower still. It's a horrific monument to what happened there as a result of council cost cutting and just everything is coming out about that incident now. We've now got 111 towers that have been clad with the same material that was used at Grenfell, and mostly in order to save money. And when you have that amount of social pressure, when you have the concerns of people being buried, because the concerns of the people living at Grenfell Tower were buried, eventually that will explode outwards. So all in all, it's better for people to be able to discuss these things, to air their grievances and not be silenced by some algorithm that YouTube is using. Let them speak, because ultimately, if they have a bad idea, then somebody will tell them this. And as long as the videos aren't illegal, let them be. Anyway, that's been my little chat about YouTube's systems. If you want to find more information about it, YouTube have put out a thing about it, which is particularly cringeworthy. But people like the Honey Badgers have talked about it, Charming Man's talked about it. It's out there. So if you want some other points of views, I'll throw the Honey Badgers link in the description. And yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.